Round 3 of the Women's Rugby World Cup is here, and after an amazing round 2 that saw some absolutely huge point scores, it's all in for one more round of the pool stages to make up the gap at the top of your groups. I'll kick things off this week with a very quick recap of how my team got on in round 2 and a quick look at the FRG leagues. So I had a brilliant round 2, absolutely outstanding from pretty much everyone in my team. My top scorers, Georgia Miller, 119 points, Emily Boulard, 109 points, Marie Menager, 73, Meg Jones, 71, Portia Woodman-Whitcliffe with 78 points, Grace Moore with 63, Sophie de Goody with 60. My captain was Emma Singh. I actually gave her the triple captain. She got 55 points, so that was trebled to 165. So all in all, really good. 980 points for round 2, just shy of the 1,000 mark, but all in all, decent. My only slight disappointment was Leah Champon with just 15 points. I spent way too long analysing all 3 of the French-backed Seraphine Akemba, Marie Morland and Leah Champon. In the end, I settled on Champon, which was very disappointing considering Akemba got 113 points and Morland got 60 points. C'est la vie. Moving into the FRG leagues, first up the main Fantasy Rugby Geek League. A huge congratulations to Jack Council, who leads the way on a massive 2,097 points. Jack is actually the overall world #1 right now, so it's great to have him in the FRG league, and let's see if he can keep it up for round 3. In second place in the FRG league, we've got C. Rotka doing really well, also over 2,000 points. Then we've got Will E, Alex Amory, Pitch Perfect, Lazar69, Amy Mitchell, Rugby Ramblings, Fab651 and Les Jove in 10th place. Moving over to Pools League, C. Rotka is in first place, leading the way, and quite some distance behind him is Pitch Perfect. Then we've got Tom Davey, Fance, Carlos Luss, Anna James 33, Tommy D, Paul Shimfo, Ben Edgett and Aidan Collins making up the top 10. Okay, now onwards to round 3, and first up, let's take a look at the matches we got in this round. Kicking off with Canada versus Scotland, opening proceedings on the Saturday from Exeter. Then we move to York for the USA versus Samoa. This is followed back at Exeter by Wales versus Fiji, and then wrapping business up is the Red Roses, England taking Australia at Brighton and Hove Albion Stadium. Sunday's matches kick off at midday with Japan versus Spain from York. Then it's over to Franklin's Gardens for Italy versus Brazil. Following that, back to Brighton for New Zealand versus Ireland in what should be an absolutely huge game. And then finishing the pool stage up is France versus South Africa. So now a quick run through of my recommended players for round 3. These are the top fantasy options in each position in my opinion. You'll obviously need to balance this out with some value picks that I'll be covering off later on in the video. And finally, one big, massive caveat really. This is all being done before the teams are announced on Friday. So there won't be any New Zealand, Italy or France players confirmed in this lineup. These are my educated guesses as who could well be playing, but you really need to wait until the final squads are announced on Friday before finalising your team. So kicking off with the props. And first up, I'm looking at Silvia Turani of Italy. The Harlequins prop had a great round 2 against South Africa. Really made a massive impact. She's often got a try in her, so a real dangerous option in the Italy front row, where they also have a great matchup against Brazil. Then we got Maud Muir of England. I mean, she's got to be picked. She's so strong, such a hard carrier, such a strong attacking threat, as well as a danger in the scrum. Then finishing off, we've got Delika Menon of Canada. She had a great round 2 with 60 plus points. She also got an assist, set up a try, as well as being dangerous in the scrum. Great all-round tackler, just racking up stats everywhere. A really strong all-round option. And then some additional options to consider if you're struggling with the 3-player constraints from each country. I'm looking at potentially Asia Kalfawi of France, Hannah Bottoman of England, Babawa Lachwa of South Africa, McKinley Hunt of Canada, KMA Sagapolu of the USA, and Hope Rogers also of the USA. Into the hookers now, kicking off with Amy Cockayne of England. Her opening match in round 1, she got on the try sheet before coming off. She missed round 2, but she's back in force for round 3. And anyone playing in the hooker position for England is always going to be a threat. Then we got Vittoria Vecchini of Italy. So she got on the try sheet in round 2. Really dangerous attacking option. Also dangerous at the maul. Incredibly athletic and fast. She's going to be a real danger against Brazil. and I wouldn't be surprised if she maybe gets on the try sheet once or twice in round 3. Additional options to consider include Emily Totosi of Canada, Carolina Blanco Herrera of Spain, Manon Bija of France, Catherine Treader of the USA, and Georgia Ponsonby of New Zealand. Into the second row now, Sophie de Goody obviously has to be considered. Kicking for Canada, also an attacking threat. She's just unreal. There's nothing she can't do, and she could well be the most popular second row pick in the game. Then we've got Erica Jarrell-Searcy of the USA, one of the genuine stars of the tournament. She scored tries in both matches. Incredibly athletic. If you consider in round 1, she actually out-accelerated Jess Breach for her try. She's just a great all-round talent, and for me is a must-pick in round 3 as the USA are facing off against Samoa. And then wrapping things up, Mané Falou of France. So she was rested for round 2, so she'll be coming back fresh and ready to go against South Africa. She's a class act, a real world-class option in the second row, and definitely needs to be under strong consideration for your fantasy teams in round 3. Additional options to consider in the second row, we've got Giordana Duca of Italy, just a brilliant all-round tackler, Fiona Toot of Ireland, Grace Moore of Ireland if she's selected again at number 8, and Maya Roos of New Zealand. Into the back row, and we've got many options here. I'm kicking off with Sadia Kabea of England. She got a try in round 1, rested in round 2, and should be ready to go again for round 3. England will be looking to make a statement against Australia down in Brighton, and Sadia Kabea could well be at the thick of the action. Then we've got Georgia Miller, who essentially is another back 3 for New Zealand. She's everywhere, but she finds herself out wide. Amazing runner with the ball, just beats defenders for fun. You can really see that sevens ability coming out in her. For me, she's also a must pick, despite having stronger opposition in this round. Then we got Freda Tafuna of the USA, an amazing try scoring performance in round 2. She's got slightly weaker opposition this week in Samoa, so I think she could go well again in round 3. And then finally, Francesca Scorbini of Italy. She had an outstanding Women's Six Nations, got on the try sheet, carried hard, made a huge volume of tackles, and she scored again in round 2. And up against Brazil, I think she could well get on the score sheet again. Additional options in the back row to consider, we've got Evie Gallagher of Scotland, an incredible tackling performance in round 2. She's definitely one to consider this week, and if you haven't played your defensive pro booster, maybe this is the week, and maybe Evie Gallagher is the one to put it on. Then we've got Layla Say of New Zealand, again a strong ball carrier, should be racking up meters. Oseze Hele, say no more. Tiani Felou of France, and Alex Matthews of England. Into the backs now, and kicking off with Pauline Bourdon-Sansus of France. An astonishing performance against Brazil last week. She was on the field for an hour, and she was assisting, making carries, beating defenders, even getting on the try sheet. Pauline Bourdon-Sansus is just on a different class, and she should wreak havoc against South Africa on Sunday. Then I've got Justine Pelletier of Canada. She's at the heartbeat of everything that Canada do. They've got a match-up against Scotland this week. It is a must-win, and I'm expecting them to put in a very strong performance, and Pelletier to be in the thick of the action. Additional options at scrum half include Nadine Ruiz of South Africa, Mo Hunt of England, and Cassidy Bargel of the USA. Now moving into fly half, first up I've got Zoe Harrison of England, another player who was rested in round 2 but an outstanding goal kicker. She should get plenty of shots at goal this weekend. Then I've got Taylor Perry of Canada as well, obviously not Canada's first choice goal kicker, but her all-round game more than makes up for that, and she will be scoring very well this week, no doubt. Additional options to consider, fly half, Helen Nelson of Scotland, Mackenzie Hawkins of the USA, and Libby Yanzi van Redsburg of South Africa. Now moving into the centres, kicking off with Meg Jones of England. Jones got 2 tries in round 2. She's an absolute bundle of dynamite in the England midfield, whether it's putting in huge hits, breaking the line, beating players, setting players up. Meg Jones is definitely my first pick in the centres. Then we got Marie Menage, so she started on the wing last week. She could well find herself out there again, as she's regularly done in the Women's Six Nations. If she's on the wing, then she's a brilliant out-of-position option. France up against South Africa, Menage could be in the thick of the points. And then finally we got Florence Simons of Canada. She had a brilliant round 1, slightly quieter round 2, but her attacking ability is absolutely outstanding. If she gets the ball in space, she's an absolute danger, and for me is a very strong option to consider in the centres this week. Additional options to consider in the centres include Gabby Cantona of the USA, who will be more than likely kicking this weekend. Likewise, Beatrice Rigoni of Italy could well be kicking, and with Italy up against Brazil, they'll likely get plenty of kicks. We've got Emma Raw of Scotland, Stacey Wacker of New Zealand, Eve Higgins of Ireland, and Alex Tessier of Canada. Into the outside backs here, and I've picked 4 players, 2 from Italy, 2 from England. Kicking off with Italy, we've got Aura Muzzo. She's been on great form all year long. Italy's top try scoring performer this year. She should be getting lots and lots of meters in, beating plenty of defenders. And if Brazil's performance against France last week was anything to go by, the wingers are going to be in the points. So this is also why I'm picking Alyssa Dinker. Outstanding last year in the Women's Six Nations and outstanding all year round. She's been slightly off the ball in comparison with Aura Muzzo this year, but still Alyssa Dinker has everything needed to rack up an enormous score this weekend. Then we've obviously got Ellie Kildunn of England, just a different class. She showed what she's capable of in round 1, in case anyone had forgotten. And if anyone didn't pick her in round 1, they will definitely be feeling the pain. Kildunn is different class and she will go well again this weekend. And then finally, we've got Jess Breach of England in outstanding form, tries in round 1, tries in round 2. And this week she returns to play in her home county of Sussex. Having grown up playing for the mighty Pulborough RFC and Chichester RFC, she'll be looking to make a homecoming impact in Brighton. Some additional options to consider include Morgane Bourgeois of France, Portia Woodman-Whitcliffe of New Zealand, Julia Schell of Canada, Asia Hogan-Rochester of Canada, Berandre Dolph of South Africa, Braxton Sorensen-McGee of New Zealand, and Abby Dow of England. Now on to boosters. Now you should only have 1 left, so depending on what you have left, this is who I'd be looking to put it on this week. Starting up with triple captain, Ellie Kildunn, obviously always captain Kildunn. She's always good for points, and if you don't captain her, you could get really stung as she's likely to be the most popular captain pick in the game. Then we've got Jess Breach of England, homecoming game in amazing form, tries in every match so far. You wouldn't bet against her, scoring tries again. And then Aura Muzzo, Italy's form winger, playing up against Brazil this weekend. And then looking at the super kicker chip, we've got Zoe Harrison of England. She should get plenty of kicks this weekend against Australia. There's great kicking form. Morgane Bourgeois should be back in the France 15 and should get plenty of kicks this weekend against South Africa. And then obviously we have the absolutely brilliant Sophie de Goody. Then finally with defensive pro, Evie Gallagher of Scotland, 30 plus tackles in round 2. Not only that, but she's one of the best breakdown specialists in the entire game. So she's well worth looking at putting the defensive pro on this week. Alternatively, Alex Callender of Wales should go well this week. She was rested last week, so she'll be fresh and ready to fire. And then we've got Piper Duck of Australia. She's one of the top tacklers in the game so far. And against England this week, she's going to be very busy. A reminder that all the boosters can be used in the group stage and then it's reset for the knockout stage. So you can basically use a booster in every round. So if you haven't used any yet, definitely use one this week. And I'd recommend the triple captain if you've not used any boosters just yet. So finally, the value picks on this game. Budget is tight. So if you're struggling for budget, maybe consider one of these players to allow you to spend big elsewhere. Kicking off with Adiana Talakai of Australia, hook available for just 4.5. Then we've got Jade Coates of Fiji, been in great form so far, available for 4 in the second row. Eshlyn Coimbra of Brazil, one of the stars of Brazil's performance, an absolute tackling machine, available for 4. Then the last second row I'm looking at is Grace Moore of Ireland. She played at number 8 in round 2, scored 60 plus points, and she's available for just 4.5. Evie Gallagher of Scotland, she's been in these value picks every week, but she's really the best value player in the game, available for just 4.5. Nunia Danimoala of Fiji, available for just 4 in the back row. Cesar Hele, again an absolute steal, one of the stars of the show so far, available for 5. Leah Brebner Holden of Scotland, scrum half, available for 4. Libby Janse van Rensburg, the highest scoring fly half in the game, available for just 6. Emma Raw of Scotland, available for 5.5. Josephine Nehamu, available for 5.5. Claudia Pena Hidalgo, available in the back 3 for 4.5, an absolute bargain. And Berandre Dolph of South Africa, taking kicks in the back 3 and available for just 5. So I really hope that's been helpful. It's been an amazing tournament so far and it keeps on getting better. I'll actually be at the England-Australia game on Saturday with my family. So if you see me, please come over and say hello. As always, more details are over at fantasyrugbygeek.com with my full round 3 picks post. And if you want to see my full team reveal, then head over to my membership site at buymeacoffee.com but you'll also be able to share your team with me for direct feedback on any changes that I'd recommend. Also, make sure you check in on the final lineups on Friday afternoon before you finish your team selection. Make sure you give me a follow on X, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram and TikTok, and also make sure you give my channel a subscribe so you don't miss any more videos in the Women's Rugby World Cup. Join my leagues, especially the prize league for pool. The details are in the description of this video. But yeah, make sure you get your teams in, enjoy the rugby and good luck.